Mr. Speaker, sir. It is indeed with a very heavy heart that I stand here today to condole the demise of two of our own legislatures, former legislatures, and two very, very senior leaders who we have lost in the last 3 days back while the session was going on. We have lost the former Deputy Chief Minister of Meghalaya, late Rowell Lyngdoh, who passed away on the 13th of March 2022. And we also lost on the same day late Marak, who passed away on the 13th of March 2022. Sir, I'm sure not just myself, but a large number of members in this House had the opportunity to work closely with both these great leaders of our state. In fact, late A.C. Marak, as he was more fondly known, was related to us, to our family, through my late grandfather. And I also used to fondly call him Achu, which also translates into grandfather. And through our family programs and different meetings we used to have at the family level, we used to very often see each other. Apart from that, he was also close to my late father politically. And therefore, even from a political angle, we used to always get a chance to meet him and speak to him very often. Another third connection which I had with late A.C. Marak was the fact that he was a 3-time MLA from Silsala constituency. It is one of the constituencies that I had contested and was elected once. And I remember there was one of the elections where he had in fact helped me and supported and campaigned along with me. And so those were the fond memories that I had of late A.C. Marak. Again, a person who was very, very active, I should say. A person even till his last breath was always very alert and very physically very active. And I personally, at a personal level, had learned a lot from him in terms of the politics at the grassroots level, especially when it came to Silsala constituency. Sir, with late Rowell Lyngdoh, I had, of course, the opportunity to always meet him in different situations, and even when he served as the Deputy Chief Minister of the state and as Minister in different capacities. He was somebody who was a very approachable person, a very simple person, and a person who was very good at heart. And he never said no. And the humility that he had, I think, is something that each one of us will remember. I also had an opportunity, apart from officially engaging with him in different situations, I also had the opportunity to work with him as he was part of the National People's Party, which is my political party and the party that I belong to. And late Rowell Lyngdoh also had joined the party and also was a candidate of the party in the last election. And through his the experiences that we had, I could see that even after contesting so many times and after being elected from the constituency for so many terms, he had a lot of love and affection from his people, and he still wanted to continue to serve the people of his constituency and the state as a whole. And being a very, very senior leader, he has touched many lives, and he has held many positions, whether it's from a normal chairman position of different boards at the state level to the level of a minister, handling numerous departments, and ultimately to also become the Deputy Chief Minister of our state, sir. So, sir, it's a great loss for our people and for the state. And even for me, at a personal level, it is a loss because both these tall stalwarts were very, very close to me personally. And as I said, they have always been people who I've engaged with and had a chance to always meet because of my late father, and they were very close to him. And therefore, it's a personal loss also to me as an individual. So I do take this opportunity, sir, to really express our deepest condolences on behalf of the members of this House, to the members of the bereaved family. It's a great loss, as I said, for them as a family, and I'm sure that this loss is irreparable and irreplaceable. And I pray to Almighty God that He may give strength to His family members and also His supporters, their supporters, to bear this great loss that they've had. And may the souls of these two great individuals, great human beings, and great leaders may rest in eternal peace.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I also rise to join the Leader of the House with heavy heart to condole the demise of two veteran leaders of our state, late Atul C. Marak and late Rowell Lyngdoh. With both of them, we had long associations, and at the same time, even before I started my innings in politics with late Atul C. Marak, while he was a young Congress leader then, the whole family connect and other aspects through the relation through the political party. We have been able to see him climbing his political career, the whole career path in his political innings. And he was considered as one of the most dynamic member of the cabinet then. People in Garo Hills used to take him with high esteem and respect. And with so much of hope, people from his constituency. In fact, he was instrumental in transforming the constituency he represented, Salsala constituency, which prior to his representing the constituency was one of the most, can be considered as one of the most backward parts of the state. And in West Garo Hills, from amongst all the constituencies, that was considered as one of the most developed constituency while he represented. In course of his first term, he created visibility of transformative changes in his constituency. We were beneficiary of that because Salsala used to cover almost close to Tura, starting from beyond Damalgiri. So as we traveled through the road, that was the best stretch of road that we traveled as students. And the rest were in a very, very dilapidated condition. The moment we crossed Garvada towards Ampati, then it was a different story altogether. So there was a kind of, that palpable feeling from people that, yes, this is a man of the masses who understand what he need to do for the constituency. And that was how he got elected, in spite of the fact that at that time, Silsila was considered as one of the stronghold of the regional parties. And he consecutively, for 3 consecutive terms, got elected, though with small margin. But I think the quantum of service that he gave to the people made a difference in his political innings. I had the privilege of watching him as I also got elected subsequently, and we became colleagues in this August House. And he used to always call me Angde. Angde means son, because he used to address my late father as elder brother. And we are all connected that way. The leader of the house, his great-grandfather, is connected to me through the clan. And so we are all connected somehow or other. So the first morning, the first thing in the morning that I came to know on Sunday was this message that he was no more. I spoke to the son, and because the message came from one of the sons. With his demise, yes, we have lost one of the veterans who was still available for most of us to take counseling and to draw inspiration. We had the privilege of working together in the party, and on a number of counts, yes, we did confront lots of challenges, and we put our efforts together collectively to overcome those challenges. And we collectively, after P.A. Sangma left Indian National Congress, we tried to somehow salvage the situation, and we carried on. So with his demise, one part of our history will be written now. I condole his death and convey my deepest condolences to the members of the Bir family through you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I sincerely pray that the departed soul rest in eternal peace. I would like to also share my fond memories about late Rowell Lyngdoh. When I first got elected, he was one of the members of the cabinet in a government led by Sri S.C. Marak. And he held important portfolios. He was, in fact, at the time, if I recollect correctly, he was also looking after home. So with innumerable challenges, particularly for somebody to hold the post of home police, I could see him, how efficiently he handled all the responsibilities which were vested upon him. And at the same time, a real man who is connected with the masses. I would also share my fond memory about his contribution towards transforming Maukarwat area and his special contribution towards positioning Maukarwat in the field of education in a manner that most of the youth from Maukarwat used to really have over the years benefited out of those contributions. We see many young men and women who have excelled in their respective academic careers, and he has plenty of contribution in this. He himself has been, along with the rest of the leaders of the area, instrumental in building many of those institutions, supporting those institutions, and used to share those, whatever joy he used to have after seeing all the success stories of these young men and women of that area. As we worked together, when I had the privilege to lead the government, I also had the privilege to work with him as the Deputy Chief Minister. We have spent innumerable hours together in discussion, consultation, trying to address contentious issues, discussing how to really deal with many multiple sensitive and contentious issues. And he was always there as a source. When sometimes he had to tell me to go slow, sometimes he used to warn me. Also, I think sometimes you need to decide not to decide. So those were the kind of enrichment that we had. We had to agree and we had to disagree as well on a number of counts. It has been a wonderful experience. I fondly remember our association with him, and he also is a very good host, very good host. I remember whenever we used to visit Maukarwat, you will always ensure that you have the best food, the best chicken, and take care of the scrumptious meal laid on the table to take care of the gastronomics of the guest that he used to host. Wonderful man. Even at home, I have seen him. I had the privilege of having the luxury of being one of the guests when he hosted dinners a number of times. Well, we miss him, and his demise has left a huge vacuum. These are leaders who will be remembered for a long, long time, and losing them, having lived their life, I think God has been gracious to them also because they have touched. In fact, we only pray that we live long as they have lived. And with these few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to convey my deepest condolences to the members of the Bir family and sincerely pray that the departed soul of this great leader find an eternal peace. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I resume my seat.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I also rise to join the Leader of the House, Leader of Opposition, and all other members who will be participating in this condolence messages where we all want to send to these two bereaved family who have lost their loved one. To the family of late Atul Marak, his wife, his 3 children, and all relatives and well-wishers. But I want to dwell my time for Rowell Lyngdoh. I stand here, sir, not alone, but on behalf of the people of Maukarwat, on behalf of the people of Southwest Khasi Hills, to extend and offer our condolences to late Rowell bereaved family, to his beloved wife, to his 4 children, 4 in-laws, and all grandchildren, to the Lyngdoh Marshilong clan, and to all his relatives. The demise of Rowell Lyngdoh had caused an irreparable loss to the family, big loss to Maukarwat constituency as a whole, and the state as well. Sir, we learned many things from this tall leader, but I just want to tell you how I personally related with him. I got an opportunity to associate myself with him since 1993, when we supported him in the election. And many elections, we continue to support him, whether we understand that he is going to lose the election or gain the election, it does not matter, but we always supported him. And I cannot support him only till the time comes for me to contest the election where I am compelled to support myself. Before that, I'm all with him, and I have learned many good things from him, and I have seen him a man of principles. So that is the connection, that is the relationship that I had learned from him. And I have seen him as a man of principles, a man of values, and a man who are committed for the development of his people, of his constituency, and the state as a whole. I dare to say, sir, that maximum of the development that takes place in Maukarwat, maximum of the development that has taken place in Maukarwat has been initiated by this tall leader. He was a thorough gentleman leader, 100% loyal to his wife and his family. He won the trust and confidence from the people he's dealing with. He won the trust and confidence from the officers in his department that he has been shouldered the responsibility. And the beauty of him, he was a man who talked less and walked more. I think we have to learn this good thing from him, sir. He is the leader. He was the man who talked less and walked more. Sir, one beautiful character in him is that he was a humble man, such a humble man. With all his success and achievement in life, I love to remember that in all the success, he used to put the words that we, not I. He used to put the words, we have achieved, we have been able to do this, we have been able to do that. And he never used the word to claim or to bring a capital I in the success story in his life. That is a very good thing, and I really appreciate him for this quality. Another thing which I really want to place on record to be remembered by the people of the state and the people of Maukarwat, sir. He had raised the standard of the people of Maukarwat. And because of him, who are able to raise the standard of the people of Maukarwat, I can proudly say in many occasions, and I used to keep the statement by saying, Maukarwat is one of the best constituency where people can still think to win election without money. I have the courage to say that Maukarwat constituency is one of the constituency that people can still expect, can still hope to win the election without spending money. I have seen with my own eyes, I have heard with my own ears, sir, how he replied to the people who come to ask money during election to him. He dared to say this word. I want to just say what he said in our own Maram word. He said, "Sakcok pisah lakno lingwa." Means when people went to him to ask for money, he dared to say, "From where I'll get money to pay you?" I think it is very difficult to all of us. To most of us sitting here in this house, it is not easy to deny, and it's very difficult to educate our own people, our own followers. But Rowell, he dared to say so. And in his practice to do like this, because of his good quality, sir, he got an opportunity to serve the people of Maukarwat for 30 years as an MLA and 5 years as an MDC. It is not easy thing. And I am very happy to get this privilege that in the journey of 50 years of Maukarwat along with the state of Meghalaya, I still have the opportunity to take over Maukarwat constituency from this first man, who is the first man of Maukarwat, first MLA of Maukarwat. I still have the opportunity to take from his hand, from the first-hand man. I think few MLAs among us that we have that opportunity to take over from the first-hand man in the journey of 50 years of our state and of our own constituency. Sir, he has got those good qualities that we not only speak good of him now when he passed away. There was a complaint everywhere that we always speak good to people only when they pass away, but we never speak good of them when they are alive. But I want to tell you the fact, Rowell has won that love and confidence from the people, that people from Mokerwat, they spoke good of him even when he is alive. I want to tell you the fact, sir, that even though due to political compulsion we have to contest election against him, but from my mouth, I thank God, I have been able to control that I have not spoken anything against him, against his principles, against his personalities in all the campaign in the election. And people, general public also, at Mokerwat, they always appreciated him for his characters, for his principles that he followed in his life. Sir, it is very, very good for us to follow his footsteps. And if we can follow his footsteps, I truly believe we can bring change in the constituency we represented. We can bring change in the state of Meghalaya. Because he was a man of commitment, commitment for the work, commitment for the responsibility that has been put on his shoulder. Sir, I consider him as the father, the founder, and the architecture of Mokerwat constituency in particular, and Southwest Khasi Hills district in general. Sir, once again, I want to request people of Mokerwat and people of the state that it's so valuable to follow his footsteps, and we will be success in our life if we can follow him. As Honorable LO has stated, that we pray that if it is God's will, the footstep that Rowell has maintained his body, has maintained his health, to live long, to get the age of 85, 86 years old. It is very, very good for all of us if God is willing to give us these long years to live. Sir, at the conclusion of my speech, I pray that the Almighty God shall comfort and bless this family, and may his soul rest in peace. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I also rise to join with the Leader of the House and the Leader of the Opposition, and also other members of this August House, in condoling the demise of our veteran leaders. We have lost two stalwarts from our state. One is late Rowell Lyngdoh, and another one is late Otul C. Marak. Sir, I would like to refresh my memories about late Otul C. Marak, who was very popular veteran leader from the western region of the state. Late Otul C. Marak, he was born in Oldamgri. At present it is under Southwest Garo Hills. And he got married in Salsala area. And he was ex-army man. In the early days of his life, he served the nation in the Indian Army. Then he joined into politics. He was popular as the young, dynamic youth Congress leader in late 70s. Then he contested 1983 Assembly election on Congress ticket successfully. And for 3 consecutive terms, he was elected from Silsila constituency. And I still remember when I was a student, I used to hear about him. He was popular as power minister and forest minister. And during his tenure as power minister, lots of transformations and lots of remote villages the people of which even didn't know what is electricity could get the electricity connection. And that time, the concept of solar energy I heard for the first time when late Otulsi Marak was the power minister. My parents used to tell us to call him Awang, the paternal uncle. So we used to call him Awang. And although politically I was not associated with him, in the last few years, I was meeting him quite frequently. When I was privileged to serve as sports minister, we were intending to create one international standard stadium for a Tura town. And since within the Tura town, the required area of land, which was not less than 60 bighas, 20 acres, was not available within Tura town, so we were compelled to look for from the periphery areas. Then we could locate in one of the localities in the suburbs of Tura town, that is Asibra, around 53 bighas. Then when inquired, it belonged to late Otulsi Marak. Then we negotiated, and he agreed upon to sell, of course, to the department, to the sports council. But unfortunately, due to some litigation, that could not be materialized. But then, in the process, I happened to meet him very frequently. Then he was very active. I can remember he was very active physically also. And the people of his constituency, the Silsila constituency, comprising of different communities, majority is Garo, then again Koch, Hajong, and of course Bengali, the part of which has fallen into my constituency subsequently after the delimitation was affected. So people are still talking about how he was closely associated with the people of his constituency. And he was the person who was responsible to strengthen the Congress party, to make it deep-rooted in Silsila constituency. I remember when late P.S. Sama left the Congress party in 1999, he was given the Congress ticket to contest the Lok Sabha election from Tura seat. And I was very actively campaigning for him, although he was not successful in the election. That is how I was associated with him. And on the 13th of March 2022, when this important leader passed away is a great loss to the family in particular and the whole of Garo Hills and the state of Meghalaya in general. So I pray to God that He will grant strength and solace to the members of the bereaved family. And I pray that the departed soul of late Potul C. Marak rest in eternal peace. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also like to remember and condole the demise of late Rowell Lyngdoh. The very senior and veteran politicians from the state of ours. He started his life in humble way, and he started serving the people as teacher. He was part of Indian Air Force. Then he was also working under Assam government during 1968. And later on he joined in active politics. He was elected as the member of this August House for several terms. He was also elected as the member of the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council, wherein he was also the chief executive member of the KHADC. Mr. Speaker, sir, I was not having long association with late Rowell Lyngdoh, but when we were elected as the members of this August House in the 9th Assembly in 2013, I was privileged to be part of the cabinet along with late Rowell Lyngdoh. And what I could observe in him was he was very simple, down to earth, and very accommodative to any level of people. And when in that period of time, I was minister and he was deputy chief minister in the same cabinet, he very often invited me to visit his constituency. In several occasions, he was very interested and active in sports also. He made sure that he would witness all the important football matches, whether it is in his constituency or even in Jain Stadium, Shillong. So very often he used to invite me when he would organize big tournaments in his constituency. Then one point of time, on his request, when then government sanctioned a stadium in Maukurwat and artificial turf, he called me for inaugurating and making me chief guest. Then I said, sir, you are deputy chief minister and I'm just cabinet minister. It will be breach of protocol. In your presence, I cannot be chief guest. Then he said, no matter. I'm the host. Although I may be deputy chief minister, but I'm the host and you are my guest. I can chair the program. You can be still chief guest. That is what is this late Rowell Lyngdoh was. And he stayed in Motinagar, the same locality where I was staying as minister in the government accommodation. Very often he used to come to me, to my residence, by walking. It's not so far. Then we used to have cup of tea, sharing cup of tea and talk to each other. It is how I was associated with him, although it's not a long association. But with the demise of late Rowell Lyngdoh, it's a great loss to the constituency, to the family, and to the state as a whole. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to condole, to pay my deepest condolence to the very family, and I pray that the departed soul of late Rowell Lyngdoh rest in eternal peace. With these few words, I resume. I say thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to participate and I associate with the Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Leader of the House, members of the August House, in the sad demise of late Marak, one of the leaders from the Guidelines, and also the late Rowell Lyngdoh, former Deputy Chief Minister of our state. So we have lost two veteran leaders, the stalwart of our state. If you look about the background of the two personalities that we have lost, I must say that it's almost the same, sir. So Marak, though I have met him because in 1993, I was for the election at the time, but I met him, though I have not come successfully at that time. He's a good gentleman. He's very polite, and he's a very popular man. The whole of Meghalaya, especially in the Rowell area. Everybody talking about late Marak, former minister. So we know about his contribution of the Silsila constituency, and I'm sure that he have contributed a lot. Like Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Rowell have mentioned, even Bazinet have already mentioned, even others, but he have doing a lot for his own constituency, Silsila constituency, and the state as a whole. His loss is a great loss meant to the family members, the whole of the Guidelines, and the people of the state itself. So we have lost another great leader from our state, late Rowell Lyngdoh, former Deputy Chief Minister. So we look into the background of late Rowell Lyngdoh. I may say that he have started as a teacher, as an Indian Air Force, and then as a government servant. But in the inception of the state in 1972, he was contesting election. He won the election from time to time. That till his last bit, I may say that he's still a leader. So if you look into to his background, I may say that God has a plan to all of us. That's why we would have said that man proposes and God disposes. Because since in 1972, or inception of the state, he was in a political career, a long journey. 50 years in his career as a political leader, like Lyngdoh Tongkhar have already said, he has contributed a lot for the development of Marak constituency. We know him very well. He's a good gentleman. He maintained very low profile, and and also that he was guiding factors of humility, and the way he speaks that he have been calculated in such a way that you will not hurt the sentiment of others. So we have lost many leaders for the last 50 years who have contributed a lot for our state. But it's our duty to follow the footsteps of our leader. The main important that honesty, humility, that will be guiding factors for the present generation. Because our leaders are doing a lot for the state, but it is our duty that we have been here to do good for the interest of the state at large. So at this hours of grief and sorrow, I convey my condolences to all the family, and I pray to God that to console all members, and may his soul rest in peace. With these words, sir, I resume my seat, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I also rise with a deep sense of pain and sorrow to condole the demise of two veteran leaders of the state whom we have lost on the same day, that is the 13th of March, 2022. It is worthy of praise and thanks to the Almighty that both these great leaders have been bestowed long fulfilling years, who both of the leaders have crossed 80 years. Mr. Atul C. Marak represented Silsila for 3 consecutive terms from 1983 to 1998 and had served the government of Meghalaya in various capacities as ministers of different departments, and thus contributed immensely for the growth and development of the state in general and Silsila constituency in particular. I had a privilege of working under him in close association. That was way back in 96 when he was representing Silsila and I was posted as the block development officer. He is a true leader. We always had a very good coordination and cordial relation while discharging my duties and when we are serving the people of the constituency. As Elo has rightly mentioned that people always look up to him as an indomitable leader. His looks are deceptive. He looks very stern and strict, but when we work in close association with him, he is a very gentle, true gentleman. He was a true statesman and seasoned politician who inspired many minds in various fields. Having lost the precious soul of a tall leader, his good deeds and contributions would be fondly remembered and always cherished by the people of the state. He did bring a lot of changes to the constituency. In fact, till today, people of Silsila constituency talked about him, talked about his contributions, and as one of our friends has also mentioned, that during his days, the road from within Silsila constituency was really remarkable. So today I'm representing Silsila. I'm a successor, one of the successor, and I on the floor of the house, I pledged that I would keep up to the aspirations of the people as how they have considered and regarded Mr. Atul C. Marak, late Atul C. Marak, as a true leader. On this darkest hours of grieving the lost souls, I extend my deepest condolences to all the dear and near ones of the bereft family, and I pray that the departed soul rest in eternal peace. My condolence goes to the family of late Rowell Lyngdoh, who was also a veteran leader and unbeatable leader who has represented Mokulwat constituency for consecutive 5 terms. He has served the state in various capacities as ministers, as deputy chief minister, as chairman of MGCC, and having lost such a great leader at this juncture, it's a great loss to the people of the state, not only to the family and the constituency. I have known Sir Rowell Lyngdoh from my younger days because of his relation with my late father. He was initially in his initial stage, he was representing HSPDP, and my father was also one of the HSPDP party worker. So whenever he visited Garo Hills, he used to come to visit our place also. So from my younger days, even though I have never been able to associate closely or work under him, I know him as a very gentle and true leader. The last time I met Sir Rowell Lyngdoh was in Sir Speaker's room, last part of last year, and where I was really surprised that at that ripe age of 80 plus, he was still, his minds are still alert, and he could still recognize me also as the daughter of so and so. So today it would be, I would like to place on record my sincere appreciation and for such great leader whom the state has been able to, have been able to work under him. And I would condole the family, his wife, children, and grandchildren in this August floor, sir. Thank you.
Since there's no more members to participate in the obituary, I also rise to join the Leader of the House and Leader of the Opposition and other honorable members of this August House in condoling our deepest and our sadness to the family members of these two leaders who have passed away in the last few days. Late Rowell Lyngdoh, personally I've known him. He was my colleague in the 2 terms from 2013 and 2018. And much have been said and shared by all the members of this House about this leader while he was the member of this August House. I will not stress the same, but to me personally, I feel that I have to share a little bit that how I observed and seen and experienced myself with late Rowell Lyngdoh. As per the informations and the stories shared by him when he was alive, when I had the opportunity to meet him in his chamber, outside his chamber, I understood that since he was and has served the armed forces for almost 10 years, he is a man of discipline. And he is still very active after he joined politics till his last breath. Late Rowell, when he was a Minister of Soil and Water Conservation, I still remember he was the one who has helped me to get this center scheme of about 6 crore in my constituency in the most remote area. It was during the time of Dr. Mukul Sangma when he was the Chief Minister. And he has assured me, yes, we as MLAs from rural areas, rural constituencies, we have to focus more on rural areas to see that those people who are living in the rural areas are not being deprived of, but should have the same facilities as in other places as well. Late Rowell, he was the assistant teacher in one of the school in Marak. We understood that he has joined the armed forces and then joined politics in the year 1972. He has contested and won 5 times as the MLA from Meghalaya constituency and once as the MDC from the same constituency. He has been assigned with different responsibilities as a minister, as a chairman of the board, and also as a CM of the KHCDC. And this convinces us that he is a man who has the caliber to handle and deliver. And no doubt, he has done all these contributions for the welfare of the people. I also join with all, and on behalf of the members of this August House, express our deepest condolences to the family members of late Rowell. And we pray that God Almighty give them strength to face this sadness in their life. And we also pray that the soul of late Rowell rests in eternal peace. We also lost another leader who was also one of the cabinet minister, Sri Atul Marak. I personally don't know him much, but we have just heard, because he was a member of this August House when we were very young. So, the same, he has held different responsibilities as a minister in charge and so on, and represented Salsala constituency in West Garhwal. At the same time, I, on behalf of the member of this August House, express our deepest condolences to the family members of late Atul Marak. We also pray that God Almighty grant them strength and support at this time of grief, so that they will be able to carry on their life in the days and years to come. We also pray that late Atul Marak's soul rests in eternal peace. As a mark of respect to these 2 leaders of our state who have passed away, may I request all the honorable members to please rise to observe a 2-minute silence. Please be seated.